Hello and welcome everyone in another episode of Researcher Celebrity. Today we have Dr. Nivedita Sikdar with us as our researcher celebrity. A brief introduction of Dr. Nivedita. She has done her bachelor's and master's in chemistry from University of North Bengal and then pursued MS Engineering in Material Sciences from JNCSR Bangalore, where she also completed her PhD in Material Sciences and then moved to Ireland in the University of Limerick as a postdoctoral fellow, and then got her fellowship as Humboldt Fellowship and worked in Ruhr University of Bochum, Germany, where she was also senior scientist before joining GITAM University, Hyderabad campus, where she is currently teaching students and doing her research. With this brief introduction, I would like to welcome Dr. Nivedita by saying thank you so much for taking time out.
Thank you, Dr. Raja, for this kind invitation and for this kind introduction. I am also very much honored to talk to you. And as I already mentioned, that this is the first time I will be having such experiences because I think I never shared with anyone other than my friends. So this would be a very nice conversation, which I'm looking forward to.
Thank you so much for your kind words, ma'am. So we always start our conversation like how and when you decided that you want to become a researcher.
If I say very honestly, I did not decide. It just happened. I think many people were very sure from masters that what they want to do. Honestly, I was not very sure. I'm from a very small town with not at all much of exposure. So my world was very much limited. So I just wanted to have financial security, job security, and that was my only motivation. That if I do PhD, then maybe I'll have some job opportunities in India, either in industry or in academia. So I never thought that I'll come into academia, but over time, I felt that I'm more inclined into academia. I had my interest and I only wanted to pursue that. So it just happened over a period of time. I never decided, it just happened. If this is my honest answer.
Great. And this is what we get with so many of our researcher celebrities. And it is not only limited to India, it is worldwide whenever we have these conversations. People say that some of them, as you said, that some of them are really,
Sure,
focused,
very
dedicated,
sure.
and motivated. Even in their schools, they know that what they want to do. Most of them, especially if we are talking about life sciences, then they want to become either doctors or engineers. And then it comes to that, okay, the research, which is the calling for them. That's when they just get attracted, and then the path leads them to research, as happened in your case. But let me tell one thing to start with this conversation. You mentioned about a small town and how your world was very limited. Still, you explored so much of the world, either in Europe or, attending all these conferences all around the world. It is the research who gave you those wings. So let's start with the uh, basic PhD, like when you have done your bachelor's and master's in chemistry, then moved to material sciences, experiencing that master's degree already, what were the thoughts that you decided that you want to do PhD?
So it's a very it's a very great question. So if I am honest, I read one review article on graphene from Professor Siena Rao, and it happened to be one of the topics which I had to give seminar during my masters. Uh, and when I read that review article, I came to know about the recent Nobel, which was received on the topic of graphene, and then and Professor Siena Rao also wrote about that. And when I read that review article, it just exploded my mind that what is happening. Like I never felt such expansion. So it was a very good feeling, and I just wanted to know more. It was nothing more like researcher, academia. Those are very big words for me. I just only knew that I want to know more. I want to explore a little bit more. And as I am saying that, of course, after masters, I wanted to have a financial security. So, yeah, so I thought that okay, it will give me an option of like few years. In that few years of time, I'll figure out what I want to do with my life. And in the meantime, I will also know more about the science. So, my love for science, this I knew for sure that I really, really love it, but I was not sure what to do with it. So from that review article, I then submitted my application form for the PhD interview, and then I got selected and I joined GHSF.
That is a great story to start with, like naming Professor C.N.R. Rao you just brought. And this is something which we want to do in these conversations, that you mentioned that how one review changed your path and then you get interested into it. And whenever we talk about researchers, curiosity and exploratory brain, that is what are the trademarks of any researchers, which actually were also your driving forces before submitting the PhD. So when you got admitted to it, how was the journey of the PhD?
It was very tough. As I told that I didn't have any exposure. I was not very good speaking in English, speaking to people, because Bangalore, where I went, there were a lot of people, lot of scientists, and the official language was is English. And so it was, although I was very fluent in like communicating in writing or like telling scientific stories or writing, that was okay for me. But communicating, making friends, or talking to even professor, so those were very scary steps I felt, and it was not easy for me. And even after joining, I thought that did I make the right decision, because I was not very confident. I was very much homesick. All those insecurities were there, and I was not at all confident. But my lab mates, my PhD supervisor is a very good person, and my lab mates really helped me to overcome those insecurities when they also told that they also had faced the same thing. But it will be easier. It will be easier. So I think my lab mates really helped me, and of course, my sir understood the process and he gave me time. So I'm grateful for that. So over time, it happened that I got the flow of the research, and I started liking it rather than getting scared of it.
Absolutely, which is like in some of the cases it goes the other way, but most of the cases it goes as you mentioned, that you start doing it and then you start liking it and then apparently you love it and people do this for the rest of their life. Speaking of some of the important points when anyone, and this is for the audience, whosoever is listening to this conversation, that Dr. Nivedita mentioned very important points like your lab environment is very crucial for the duration of your PhD, before and after, in a way, because this is the place where you start your networking. Like in most of the cases, these are the people, when you join, there are people who are about to submit their thesis, going to leave the lab soon. And then when you are doing the same, then again, there is next generation coming in there. So these networks take you obviously very long way. But more important is the supportive mentor who is there to make you comfortable with the research. As Dr. Nivedita mentioned, that a mentor has to understand that what is the background of the student, from where they are coming, and then to build them in their own forte. Everyone has their different skill set, which needs to be utilized and built upon. So you mentioned about homesickness and confidence about when you moved to Bangalore. And then after completing your PhD, you moved to Ireland and then Germany. How was that journey?
Of course, I was scared in the beginning, but I know that by the time I finished my PhD, I know that okay, I can manage. So I built my confidence, I built my self-esteem, and some people may be inherently that way built, but I think I am not. So PhD like changed me personally more as a person than as a researcher, I would say. And I really encourage people to do PhD, because not for it's not, I'm not saying that you have to go for academia, but while you do PhD, I think you know more about yourself, and it's, I feel, character building, discipline building, all those things I think come into picture. And I really encourage, I really feel that people should go for it. Doesn't matter whichever job you are going for, but you should do PhD. This I really feel.
Absolutely, this is very important, and we do discuss about this. That how, like, I always quote this quote from my PhD supervisor, Dr. T. Adak. He said that PhD transforms you forever. It's not
Yeah.
only the name which changes, you change as a person, as you mentioned correctly, that when anyone in the world who have done a PhD, if they compare their personality when they enrolled into PhD and the day when they were awarded, they will see that they are probably, in some of the cases, they are two different people. As you
Yeah.
mentioned,
Yeah.
first not so much confident, and then from that student to this person saying like, no, I think I can do anything, I can go anywhere, and I am confident enough that what I'm doing, I know what I'm doing, which is very important when we do talk about
Yeah.
research in general.
Yeah.
So, what were the experiences in Germany and in Ireland briefly, and how those experiences have changed you as a researcher? And then we'll come back to India.
The lab which I went into in Ireland is Professor Jarotko. I did my PhD in metal organic framework, porous materials. So he is one of the big shots. So of course, when I gave that interview, I came to know, I had a feeling that I will get it, because you know it somehow. So I came to know there were around 65 candidates. Out of 65 candidates, I was selected. So of course that was a big confidence boost up in the beginning. But as soon as I landed into Ireland, so I feel like it is not at all like PhD, because now you are a one step ahead. So now you have to train students. So in PhD, you know that okay, I am facing a problem. I'll ask my seniors or I'll ask my mentor, and they will try to solve. They will guide me, and you feel like secure. So when you go for PA postdoc, then you are expected to provide. You are expected to bring the expertise for which you are hired, and so it is very crucial. I feel initially for 6 months you have to really give those inputs and try to have that confidence of the other mentor. So that was the first step in the Ireland, and there I built one gas separation setup along with another senior mentor who was Irish. So he really helped me. So we both built that gas separation setup, and I really felt very confident about it. And then I had couple of good papers from that lab within that very short period of time. So when I got Humboldt Fellowship, so already I realized that okay, I can perform. So as I'm saying that I was not very like so confident person, like okay, I can do this and that. No, it doesn't happen to me. I think I gradually I changed my gear. So when I got the Humboldt Fellowship, that I was very happy because it was my dream to come to Germany. All the researches, European researches, and those big discoveries, inventions, German engineer, German scientists. So I was very fascinated from very young age. So that was my big, very happy moment, I would say, when I got the fellowship and when I moved to Germany. That too, also in the field where I really wanted to do something, that is electrochemistry or electrocatalysis. So I tried to change my field from PhD to postdoc into more application oriented, and Humboldt Fellowship gave me that opportunity. So there I worked on electrochemical CO2 reduction, then electrochemical hydrogen production, water splitting. So I really was fascinated into those area, and I'm very fortunate that I got to know more about it in German labs. And the cultural wise, both countries are very different. And I think Germany is I really, I'm very grateful that I got to work for 2 years in Germany. Their work culture, their work ethic, their timings, their punctuality is really very eye-opening for me. So India, we had some environment, we had very rigorous working environment, but in Germany, so there the lab closes at certain time, and then you have to be more efficient to arrange your day and daytime, and so daytime saving, and accordingly you have to plan your work, so you have to be ultra focused. So all those things I learned during my postdoc, and also I contributed to the best of my capabilities to that lab. My experience in Germany is extraordinary, and I'm forever grateful. And if given opportunity, maybe I'll again go to Germany for short term and do some research in certain labs, maybe write some proposals. So I'm looking forward to it. Yes, I will do.
Great. And the important key points here to learn for all the generations of researchers, especially the one who are about to finish their uh, PhD, like the role of independence, as you mentioned, that when you are doing PhD, you might be given a project where everything is laid down, and then you just have to perform the experiments, write them, and then publish them, and you got your PhD. In some of the cases, what happened is like we have seen our researcher celebrities that they came up with the idea even for their PhD. So they got a little bit more independent during the PhD. But in most of the cases, as you mentioned, it is like when you go for your postdoc, that's when you realize that now, starting from conceiving the idea to publishing it or patenting it, depending on what kind of research has been done, this independence play very important role. And the second part was like the fascination, that how a scientist is fascinated by the work of others. And this also play a very important role whenever they are looking for the places or their prospective places where they want to set up their careers for a longer run.
So
Another,
just one.
yeah, yes, please.
Uh, yes, so in my PhD lab also we were given independence. We also had independent projects. Our supervisor always encouraged. So we were given like one common project which we know the, so, like sir will know that okay, this is going to work, and going to give a like very short term like results and publication oriented more work. But along with that, you are also open to explore. And if you come up with an idea, and if you come up with some good results, he will always encourage. So that lab environment, Jane says itself is a very good environment. So that changed. I mean, you don't know unless you go to Jane Caesar or ISC Bangalore, those places. There, so I really encourage students at least to go for internship, or select summer internship, or some short term 2 weeks project or 1 month project. So these are the like areas where people are very serious about work, and you get that culture of what you will be experiencing in abroad also. So where people are very serious and about timing, punctuality, time management. So I think the training was really good in our lab, and that has really helped me in my postdoc.
Absolutely.
Uh, yeah, so that's what I feel. But German labs are also, I feel, extra tough. So it is not easy. But I think you have to gain the confidence and like the belief or faith from the mentor, and after that you are open to explore.
Absolutely. No, these are very important part. And as you mentioned about developing these skill sets, that independence itself is a skill. Like when, uh, okay, let's start with the good mentor. As you mentioned, that there were two different projects. One common project which you know that for sure will work. This ensures that the students receives their doctorate degree in due time and with the good results. Whereas you have another project which can be exploratory, might not work, because we always say that how in science so many things doesn't follow the rule which they should, or at least the way we know the rules, that if we'll do this, this will happen. But no, it changes so many times.
Yeah.
Speaking of the failures, with your research experiences in three different countries and then visits to many more, what are the lesson learned from your field experiments, and then how now you can uh, guide or motivate the young researchers that how they should not be disheartened by those field experiments?
So of course you feel bad when your experiments don't work. But what I feel, I mean, I know that everyone says that you learn more from your failed experiments than your successful experiment. So luckily, I think I had almost equal ratios. So that somehow worked good for me. But I know that if it is too much of rejections, too much of failures, it is not helpful for the student in the beginning. Maybe later stage when they become mature as a scientist or researcher, they can handle this better. But in the beginning, I think you need little bit of more success, like short, very easy projects, easy results. I think that is required. And yes, your question is the failures, okay, so the encouragement, I would say that your drive to get good result or success should be so high that you don't feel the failure. You don't take the failure as failure. It's more like it didn't work. Okay, let's try again. So you don't spend much time dwelling on the thought that it did not work rather than trying to fix the problem, how it can work.
Absolutely. And I think this is the attitude which makes you a successful researcher in any ways, because when you are focusing too much on that what went wrong instead of trying to troubleshoot it, that why it went wrong, that's how it changed everything. Because if you are looking towards it with an optimistic mindset, that you want to rectify the problems, and because the world knows that this function works, this thing works, this process works. So if it is not working for you, you should approach is, as Dr. Nivedita mentioned, that troubleshoot it, resolve the problems, and keep on building. And the most important point was like your passion, your driving force for getting the positive results should be so high that you are not disheartened with all the field experiments. You are like, okay, if it didn't work it this way, I'll figure out other ways to get it work, because that is what researchers anyways do. They are so passionate about what they do that some of them have dreams of their field experiments, and some of them have, like, we had these conversations with our celebrities where they actually came up with the solution in the dream. They were like, I was sleeping, have this thought, and then next day I performed that experiment, it worked. So everyone has their own driving passion.
No, no, this is true. I mean, I will not say in dream, but I think when we discuss a project, well, so anyway, we already have an idea what, like how we are going to proceed. So we already know the final result that this might happen. So you know the end result. You just have to find the way how to get it done. And I would not say that dream, but yes, you will feel in your gut that it is going to work. You will
Yeah.
feel that.
And
Yeah.
and I'll say that every troubleshooting actually gives you a little bit more confidence and transforms you into a better researcher every single time whenever you face these hurdles.
Yeah, that is correct. But although it doesn't feel good always, but you have to get rid of that feeling. Yeah.
Absolutely. So now let's talk about two more important topics. Of first is now in India and like worldwide also, we are talking about women in STEM, their roles, contribution, their challenges. So with you, have you ever experienced anything like you have been either discriminated or you felt like, okay, just because I am a woman, I have these extra challenges?
So Dr. Raja, I think I think I look at more as a problem and solution. I don't think too much into this because
Mhm.
I feel it is not going to give me any benefit out of it. Is very I know what I want to do from my life. I'm not saying as a researcher, but overall my life. I have other aspects of life also. So I think if you always think that I'm victimized, it is not going to help you. So rather, if face a problem, you just find okay how to solve it. I mean, if you are facing a problem in a workplace, then you see either you can change the system or you leave the system. I mean, you cannot change the mindset. So rather than dwelling on that, either you try to change how you want it. If they agree, if they don't agree, then you have to think some other solution. So let's not feel, I know it is there, but I don't think too much about it,
Mhm.
because I feel you will get victim. You will have a feeling that I am a victim, and it is not going to give you any benefit.
No, absolutely. And I think the thing which we often come with these conversations is like research knows no gender bias. The experiments set up by a male or a female doesn't work the way. The science is following, the basic principles still remains the same. And
Exactly.
in fact, as you mentioned that researchers are also human beings. So you know your priorities more than anyone else knows. And you work towards them, you prioritize it. And this brings us to our next question, that how these priorities balancing in work-life balance, when we say that, okay, people talk about work-life balance, especially in researchers, in early career or early faculty, like when you are starting up your own lab or you're just joining a lab for as a PhD student, how easy or tough it is to maintain this work-life balance.
Just yes, I will answer that, but just I want to add one point here. To my understanding, like in workplace, you might be avoided, you might feel discriminated in the beginning, but I am 100% sure if you bring the intellectual part, intellectual solution to the problem, if you, because these are just facts, the science is just facts. So it's either done by male or female. So if you bring that intellectual part and do not take things so personally or seriously, you see that situation improve anyway, because at the end of the day they see you as a like solver, problem solver. I don't think that they think of you as a male or female, but it might take like 6 months, it might take 1 month, or it might take 1 year. It depends on the person. So that's how I felt, that you should not take everything so personally or so seriously. And to your second question is work life balance. I think there is no balance. This balance word is, to my opinion, is a wrong word, and because it pressurizes you to balance your life. I feel it's more of a priority. So sometimes, like till my postdoc, my main priority was my work and my work. So I really had no other life, but I liked it. So I never tried to balance my life because I like to spend my time in lab. So I was unsocial, I would say, but I like to spend my time in lab, and I never wanted to balance because that's how I liked it. But yes, some people can balance it. But yes, after certain time, you have family and you have other responsibilities, then is more of a priority. So I would say that you should be really efficient on your time. So if you are spending like 7 hours a day or 8 hours a day or 10 hours, so you should be really thinking that how much time you are giving to like your experiments or teaching, or your mentoring students, or PhD supervision, whatever. So you have to really be very efficient in your time, and then I feel you will also have very good amount of time in your personal life. So more efficiency is required for time management rather than work life balance. You can have all, I feel.
No, absolutely. The term efficiency is so important, especially like when people compare these different cultures, like how the work environment at India is so different from where you worked in Germany. In
Yeah,
European countries, it is there, as you mentioned, that they make sure that you are in lab for certain time and then out of lab at a point of time. You cannot
yeah,
be in the lab for an extended period of time because they
yeah,
prioritize your personal time way more
yeah,
than anything else. And that brings us to another point of time management. As a
yeah,
researcher, the early you learn, the farther you go. Because in some of the places, it's like students do so much of hard work and they somehow mismanage their time. because they think that, okay, I can do this in this meantime, and then I can take care of this work later, which extends their day by 4, 5, 6 hours sometimes. And now, when they should have done only 8 hours or 6 hours or whatever number of hours, been extended just because it was not prioritized, or you'll say that well organized in a way. So, for the students, for time management, what are your suggestions and thoughts that how they should maintain their uh, research calendar?
So in India, yes, you are right that this varies from country to country. So in India, the working hour starts. Okay, in JNCSR we started like 8, but the staffs and other people they will come around 9:30, 10. So the day starts a little late, 9:30 to 10, and till 5 or 5:30. But in other places, the day starts like because daytime saving is required. So the day starts like 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the morning until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So like that they have a saving. So I feel accordingly you have to work. So and for students I would say I don't think it will come in the beginning. I don't think so because you need little bit of maturity to understand like what you really want and how you really going to like deal a project and like solving a problem or everything. I feel initially we are little scattered. Okay, some people may be very efficient, but I think many people, I felt initially you are a bit scattered, trying here, trying there, and not having a proper idea. But with time, like in 1 year, you will be like, okay, now we have to like think it this way. We have to solve it this way. So, as I always say, that I always feel that the drive of time saving, the drive of time management should be very, very high, and you should really plan your day ahead. So I used to until now I plan my day ahead, 1 day 2 day before. I plan my weekly experiments, my weekly work, how much I want to make progress. It's very clear to me. So I know that my teaching workload is this much hour, the remaining hours is this much. So I need like few like half an hour break. So considering those breaks, how I'm going to manage my time otherwise. So accordingly I plan everything. So you have to know that okay, I want to leave my lab by 7. I have this 7 hours or I have my 8 hours. How I'm going to spend my time? For experimentalists, like 2 hours I need for experiments, 3 hours I need for experiments. So like that, or 1 hour I'll keep for writing, for journaling, 1 hour I'll keep for reading literature. So like that, you have to really build a proper discipline. Yes, I think that's the right word. You have to be really disciplined with your time.
Absolutely. So now we are walking towards the edge of our conversation. I would like to know your thoughts. Like for the students who are considering doing PhD, because you just now motivated everyone that yes, you should do PhD. So now if they're considering to do PhD, how they should approach the scientists.
Okay. So I feel like since we spend so much time in lab or in our work, you should have some little bit of liking towards that subject or towards that field. I really encourage that you should little bit read about the professor that like in which field he is working on, what type of publications he is having, good journals, how frequently he is having publication per year, and how many students are there, what are the facilities there in the lab, because it is very important for experimental scientists that there should be facilities in the lab or in the institute. And so I feel you pick like recent 10 papers from the scientist, good journals, and you read about that, and you see that if you really finding it interesting about that subject or topic, and you try to read little bit worldwide how this topic is explored in other places, or like whether it's a dead subject or it's a like very basic subject, or this is very fundamental or this is application oriented. You find out worldwide, like is it really emphasizing in other places as well? Do you have interest to pursue in other places in later stage? Then this option might be good for you. So many different little things, more about information you should know about your professor, in which topic he is researching, and where and how this topic can be beneficial after your PhD also, like related to job. Suppose you want to pursue along that line, so whether it is going to be beneficial for your next phase also. So you need to study little bit.
Absolutely. I think this is very important, and we mentioned that if you have a chance, then it is good to even have interaction. You go to their labs and then see how the environment is, because that is also one of the things which came out in this conversation, that having a supportive environment in the lab takes off out so much of pressure from you, because then you have a good colleague or a mentor to support you with all your field experiments frustration, and also to navigate or to help the troubleshooting process, which then takes you to the success. So now the last question for today, that how do you think that a researcher grows with the time or matures with the time?
I think as I feel that it does not only impact your work, uh, I think after PhD you can also go for UPSC, you can also go for civil services, you can also go for management positions. You can do anything. This world is full of opportunities and possibilities now at this current era. Anyone can move here and there. So, but I feel it really changes you as a person, and you also have an opportunity in case you feel okay, this clicks for you in the right way, and the right doors are open for you at the right time, then you go ahead for the next phase. But also after PhD, you can also think of other job opportunities, and this you will get failures for sure, 100%, 200%. You will also get successes, but the amount of failure will be so much more that you will be able to deal during these 5 6 years. You will be trained to deal with the failures in a much better way, I would say. So your next phase will be much easier for you, whatever role you are doing after your PhD.
Great, great. It was great having you, Dr. Nivedita. And we always say to our audience that if they want to write to our researcher celebrities, today it is you, so they can write directly to you. Or if they want us to put them in touch with our researcher celebrities, we are there to help them. The only thing which we try to make sure and ask from all the audience from anywhere in the world is, do whatever makes you happy, and research, if research happens to be that thing, we are here to support you, to put you in touch with experts in your field, and then help you in either it is in troubleshooting or in networking. Whatever you want to do, you choose. The only thing is you should be focused, passionate about your research, and then everything else falls in place. Your last words or comments, Dr. Nivedita.
My last words will be definitely you should go for PhD. I really enjoyed. Initially, it was scary for me, but I really enjoyed over the time, and I really encourage students for having this brainstorming 5 year span of time. It will really change you as a person. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Nivedita, for sharing the journey and motivating the next generation of researchers. It was such a pleasure to have you.
And yes, of course, Dr. Raja, for giving me this opportunity. And although my story is not like most of the scientists, I feel it's really different, but I try to be as honest as with you as possible. So thank you for the invitation and your time, of course.
Thank you, ma'am. To all the audience, we'll say that stay tuned for another episode of Researcher Celebrity. Till then, enjoy your research. Bye bye.
Thank you.